Hey everyone, and welcome back to Building on 16. I'm Jason. In today's video, I'm going to be putting some of these blueberry plants into the ground, and I'm going to show you a couple of the tips and tricks that I do to put plants like this, these 3-gallon pots, into the ground nice and easy. All right, and before we get started, I want to show you where these blueberry plants are going, just so you can have a good idea. This area behind me, it's not a garden or anything like that. It's actually just the side of the driveway. Here on our property, we have about 16 acres, and projects like this are kind of like what we do on our property, whether it's building little tiny houses or tree houses or working on the sawmill. We also try to do things to help beautify our property, and this is one of them. So again, this is just the side of the driveway, and it's going to be nice because it's going to be something that our kids can pick the blueberries from, and also it's going to look very nice as we go down our driveway. All right, so here's a look at the few plants that I've already put into the ground. Actually, about half of the plants that I have. There are 7 planted, and I have 7 more, so I'll do 2 rows. So the first thing I want to go over is going to be, step 1 is spacing. Each type of blueberry, or anything you're planting for that matter, is going to have spacing requirements, and ours, we're going with 6 feet between center of the plant there, and we're going to go 8 feet off of that, so the room to walk in between, we will have 8 feet. So just to show you again, the row right here, and then I run a tape measure, I set the pot right there, and I'll mark it off, and then I'll also go 6 feet from there on out. All right, so now let's go over a couple of the tools that I'll be using. First thing I'm using is going to be a handheld auger. This has an 8-inch auger bit on it, and it just helps, especially if you have softer soil, which I initially ran the tiller through here on the back of the tractor and just ripped up all the grass and anything else that was growing through here. This whole area used to just be trees before we had the company come in and grade it out for us. But so this area, first thing I did was, like I said, just clean up. So now to dig the holes, I'm going to use this auger, and as you can see behind me, a couple hand tools, and then I'll get into the little cultivator there in just a minute. But first, let's get this hole dug, and I'll go through the process of getting this first one in. All right, as you can see, I actually didn't have to go very deep because on a 3-gallon pot, there's really not a whole lot of root base there. So second thing I'm going to use is my trusty spade shovel there. And what I'm going to do is just kind of go around the edges, widen that hole, dig it out. Again, not any deeper, but just wider. And then I'll throw the clumps of dirt up onto the top over here. All right, well, I don't know if you can hear all this in the background, but we have a pretty windy day here, and so I'm hoping the quality of the video, the sound of it, turns out okay. But anyways, back to the hole here. This is the finished hole. Again, didn't have to go very deep because I'm dealing with only a 3-gallon pot, and this particular pot isn't even quite all the way full. So the depth that I have this is just fine. And what I do usually is just drop the pot into the hole. Just make sure that it's going to be just above ground level, so it has a little chance for runoff and water doesn't pool in there and give you things like root rot. But this one's about ready, so I'm going to get it out of the pot. I still have my big pile of dirt there, the clumps and everything. I'm gonna show you the easiest way to get that all loosened up and knock back into the hole. All right, so I have a little bucket of peat moss here, and again, my hole, I'm gonna just dump a little bit in here. And what I like to do is just kind of mix it in with the native soil, and that just helps loosen up everything and really helps these roots have a good shot of getting into the soil right away. Bring this up, break it up a little bit. These are pretty soft, and again, I want to make sure that I'm a little bit above ground level. And where I'm not, I'm actually going to add a little bit more and just loosely knock in some of this stuff off the side here. Again, mix it up, break up clumps, set that in there, and I'll probably add a little bit more. All right, so into the ground, again, just above ground level here. You can see that, and it looks like it's not in the center of the hole, but it's right where I want it as far as the other plant there. So just in case you were wondering, it's going to be lined up. So now, the only thing I have left to do is to remove this clumps of dirt right here, these pretty big sized clumps, and put it in there. The other key point that I wanted to mention, here comes that wind again, is that this, where it was sitting, has a natural curve. So where the sun's going to come in most of the day on these, I've turned it this way, so the sun's going to pull it back this way and hopefully straighten it back up for me. So again, may not seem like a big deal, but when you dig up the hole, you've got clumps like this. It's a whole lot easier if you can make it into nice, finer material. And I've, for the longest time, always just used my little cultivator here and bust it up, and it goes right in. That's pretty much it. Now I'll take my rake and all right, and there you have it. I have my other 7 blueberry plants in the ground. I have it raked out, and I would have to say it looks pretty good. So now I've got a little bit of pine straw here. I'll probably have to go back to the store and get some more, but I'm gonna get this whole area pine strawed, and it's more for aesthetics, but it's also gonna help the plants as well. So that's the next thing I'm gonna work on, getting the pine straw, getting these things watered in, and they'll be good to go. All right, well, we ran just a little short on our pine straw. We'll have to get by the store and pick some more of that up, but it's starting to really take some shape. Glad we decided to put blueberries here. Again, this was just a part of the driveway where this was opened up, where it was pushed. Initially, there was just a bunch of debris and trees pushed over here that we've cleaned up, and this was just a part of the driveway that I was gonna have to end up cutting all the time. So it's a nice sunny spot. Blueberries are going to do well here. I hope that helped everyone. Some of the tips that I had in this video for getting these planted. We're going to wrap this one up so I can get by the store and get some more pine straw. But I do appreciate everybody watching. Think about subscribing to our channel and following along as we work on projects all around here on our property. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.